Live from the 215 is where I reside. The city made me. Brotherly love, but no love shown. Guns blown, envy and greed runs deep in the ones that live here. If you can make it out of Illadale, you can make it anywhere. Home of the innovators, the illest creators. Why you think they put John in a dictionary? It's because we the end all be all, but it gets dark in my city. The new murder capital was a blessing to see 50. We feel honored to see 30 because most don't make it. Untimely demise flows through our town like the fog on an autumn day. Get paid and stay out the way. Watch your body and be safe. An inevitable phrase in our everyday dialogue. Pray for Philly is the daily monologue. But more than a prayer, my city needs something. Crying mothers from the P to Kensington Beach is bittersweet. Personal even because I lost my brother to the streets before he turned 23. Witnessing my mother's grief of burying her firstborn at a young age, a repetition of his finest, a diminishing generation before our eyes, before they get a chance to live a life uninterrupted by a vicious cycle, claiming the lives of young brothers before they hit 25. One may ask how we manage to feel joy when all we know is pain. Resilience at its best is not all in vain. And in spite of my disdain for the violence and the lives that are at stake, there's always a special place in my heart for where I'm from. Home of the rowdy sports fans and cheesesteaks. Soundtrack for the championships on Meek Millie. Hood anthem set on Beans and Freeway. Always my first love. The concrete jungle, that is. It is us against everybody, and in spite of it all, still a proud native of my city, Philly. Hip-hop is everything, number one. Hip-hop is in everything we see, that we breathe, the way that we walk, the way that we do our hair, the way that we dress, especially the way I, look at poetry, because it's like the way I have the cadence. And a lot of times my friend tease me about like how I perform. I don't perform as like the typical soft-spoken poet. It's more like hip-hop because I'm influenced by the Little Kims, the Foxy Browns, the Eves, and things like that. So, and as far as Philly goes, Philly is the home of the spitters. Like, we breed some of the rawest rappers, hip-hop artists that you could ever think of in this game. So hip-hop is like the root of everything. Yeah. What fun is it to take accountability? Because then I would have to acknowledge that I be on all nut shit. Acknowledge that I be doing things for self and not caring about how it affects your shit. Like that time you were consumed in infidelity, right? Because no male figures were around to show you how to properly love a woman, right? So now she's your punching bag to bury years of dysfunction. No urgency to fix that malfunction. Because that's just the way I am. But you may have not caused that trauma, but it is your duty to repair it. Just like when those red flags felt like 6 flags off for that nigga. Made excuses for his abusiveness, let him hold you after you felt triggered. Projected bullshit onto your girlfriends, into the next man for lack of established boundaries. Wanted extended grace, self-consideration for your self-inflicted miseries. Allowing yourself to be treated poorly, and surely none of it is your fault. Because why the fuck would we ever want to take accountability? Because then I would have to acknowledge all the bullshit that I accept. Look in the mirror and see who's responsible for the turmoil and dismay. Better decisions in your rear view because complacency is comfortable. Having to own up to the consequences of my poor choices just sounds insufferable. Pointing the finger at everything but myself seems more on my speed. But how groundbreaking it is to realize that my worst enemy is me. Buy new designer pieces, sneaker releases, but will frown upon investing in therapy. Because a real one don't need the introspection. Pass that hurt down to generations like my family and your family did until we all form a circle of misfortune that we continue to live. Complaining for a way out, wishing things could be different, circumstances might change. I know we as the people had setbacks, but sometimes it's yourself that's to blame. Elevate, educate your mind and prioritize that peace. Cease that conflict, indulging in that drama, and invest in your internal wealth. Be accountable and know that true freedom starts with the loving of thyself. I think in order to grow in anything, you have to be accountable. You have to look in the mirror sometimes and see that, things that are occurring cannot, it can be helped if you were to not allow them to occur. A lot of times we get comfortable with just pointing a finger at things like, this person is this way, this person made me sad, or they made me unhappy, they did this to me, and it was just like, nobody can do anything to you unless you allow it. So being accountable is like the breeding point for growth, and growth is always a beautiful thing. And that's just the the words I live by.